In this video, we're checking out the Hollyland Lark M2S after 6 months of use, and specifically how it holds up against our trusty DJI Mic 2. Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlight Studio, and in this video, we're checking out the Hollyland Lark M2S after about 6 months of use. And we're comparing it to our studio standard, our trusty DJI Mic 2. And I gotta say, this thing has been pretty surprising over the last 6 months in a lot of different kinds of use cases. So in this video, I wanna go through a bunch of those. And we have had our trusty DJI Mic dual wireless system here, the Mic 2, for a long time. We used it on just about everything. It has been incredibly dependable and easy to use. Not to mention great build quality and a ton of pro features that are really handy when you're working in a production environment. But Hollyland's Lark M2S came out, and this thing is really quite a shocker. In terms of both performance, ease of use, and of size, the thing is just unbelievably small, which makes a whole new category of use case scenarios. Now, is this a fair comparison? Not by any means. Obviously, the DJI has a lot more professional features that are aimed at people who are going to be using this. Things like 32-bit float, build quality, just the overall case and design. But what Hollyland really has going for it is just unbelievable size and drop-dead ease of use and operation. So let's dive in and find out which one works best for you. So first up, this isn't a sponsored video. We had to buy this with our own money, just like everybody else. And I think that's a really important thing when you're making a real comparison or a real review. You know, whether you like something is entirely different than whether you think it's suitable enough, durable enough, or quality enough to buy it with your own money. And in this particular case, we did. And the M2S has been out for a while, so this allows us to review it without all the hype and bias and everything when a product gets first released, and it gives us a chance to use it for a while in the real world. So Hollyland sells this in a lot of different configurations, and depending on which configuration you purchased will determine the content. So in this particular case, we have the combo pack that has the main box with the 2 transmitters and the larger receiver. And then in addition, we have 2 phone receivers, one that's USB-C and then one that's a Lightning receiver. And then we have the coiled TRRS cable and then 2 wind muffs. Next up, we're gonna go through the USB-C charging, but this isn't the first version of the Lark series. The Lark M2S is actually an upgraded and enhanced version of the original Lark M2, which was quite a bit larger. Both the DJI Mic 2 and the Hollyland Lark M2S can be charged via USB-C. And when you charge the cases, it charges all the internal components as well. So both of the transmitters on the wireless microphones as well as the receiver. Now, just like the DJI, the Hollyland doesn't charge the phone receiver part of it, but that's because the phone actually powers the receivers just like it does on the DJI. These 2 units are dramatically different in price, and the overall build quality shows that. And the first thing you realize when you start putting this all together and charging it is that, you know, the overall build quality compared to the DJI Mic 2 obviously isn't going to hold a candle to it. It's a completely plastic case. It provides the same function and it charges the content, but this is obviously where Hollyland had to cut some corners for this price point. The DJI's all-metal design is incredibly robust, and the Lark case, by comparison, is a little flimsy. Both these units have impressive feature sets, but there's one really clear standout. So the DJI Mic 2 has an impressive list of professional features: 32-bit float internal recording, 24-bit 48K sample rate, over 820 feet of wireless range, onboard 8 gig of internal storage for each of the transmitters, and up to 6 hours of operation, intelligent noise cancellation, over 75 dB of signal to noise ratio, and an insane 120 dB of sound pressure level. A lot of flexible transmitter options. It can be Bluetooth and app compatible, full function OLED screen, and a data dial and phone connections. You give up the internal recording and the 32-bit float capability with the Hollyland, but you've got 24-bit 48K sample rate, over 1,000 feet of wireless range, powerful noise reduction, over 70 dB of signal to noise, and 116 dB of sound pressure. One of the smallest on-camera microphones in the industry, weighing just about 7 grams, a special titanium clip design for durability, 1.5-hour quick recharging, and over 30 hours of usable battery life. And if none of that makes any sense, don't worry, it just means they're both high quality devices that are easy to use, but the thing that makes the Lark so attractive is it's incredibly simple. When pairing, both the DJI system and the Lark M2S system are incredibly easy to pair. If you pull the receiver out and you pull one transmitter out with it, it automatically syncs up to that one transmitter. If you pull the other transmitter out as well, it automatically syncs to both of the transmitters. And the whole rig is basically ready to go just that fast. So over the last year or so, the DJI Mic 2 has been an incredible workhorse, and there's really just no denying that. Its robust build quality and its feature set make it an incredibly easy to use device on set or in the field. Its touchscreen display gives you immediate information and feedback about both of the mics in real time. You can set almost anything on both transmitters and receiver through the OLED display here and the included rotating touch dial. So the touch dial itself rotates, and if you click on it, it selects something. So these two systems allow this thing to be incredibly flexible. And by contrast, the M2S is really a study in simplicity. It really only has three states: the receiver volume, the receiver mute, and the noise cancellation feature. These are really the only things that could be changed on the receiver without going into the additional functions of the phone app. To change the volume that the receiver sends to your camera, you simply rotate the data dial until you choose one of the three positions that works for you. If you press the orange button one time, it locks this and makes it unable to change by accident. If you press it again, it releases it and the data wheel becomes active again. Really straightforward in terms of setting level. To mute the two transmitters, you simply double click on that orange button on the side and it'll show both on the receiver and on the transmitter. And double clicking again releases the mute and they both return back to the blue LED status on the receiver and the transmitter. Noise cancellation is just as straightforward. A single click on the transmitter puts it into noise cancellation mode. You can see the two green LEDs on the receiver confirm that, and then single click again and it takes it back out, as confirmed by our two blue LEDs on the receiver and transmitter. One of the other features we want to test out here is the Lark M2S noise canceling feature. So we're right by a major highway right here. We've got a ton of ambient noise, traffic driving by, all that kind of stuff, and we want to see how effectively this is going to help reduce that. So we'll turn on the noise reduction, and this is with it on, and we'll see if that's made a dramatic difference in reducing all of that traffic noise here as it's going by. We'll turn it back off again. All right, so we're back to noise cancellation off, and you can hear that ambient traffic driving by. This will give you a pretty good idea of just how effective it is, hopefully without sounding too artificial and robotic. Let's turn it on again one more time. So this is with the noise cancellation on, and hopefully this doesn't make the voice sound, too robotic and AI-like. What we really want is just nice, clear, clean, and articulate audio. And while we're out here in similar conditions, and we've got breezy conditions here as well, we'll use this opportunity to check out the DJI noise canceling. So let's go ahead and enable that. And now it's turned on, and this will give you an idea of what the overall noise reduction capabilities are of the built-in DJI system. Let's turn it back off again. And now we're back to the regular unchanged audio. This is straight out of the microphone from the DJI, and this will give you a better idea of what the overall noise canceling capabilities are of the DJI Mic 2. We're out here testing the Lark M2S. This is Hollyland's newest version of the M series. We tested the M2 series about a year ago and had pretty similar results. And this will be interesting to see if the reduced size of the transmitter itself affects the range. And we've already done several tests with our back to the receiver, and it cuts out pretty quick. After testing both units out extensively, the Lark over the last 6 months and the DJI over the last year or so, both of the devices have pretty impressive wireless range if you're in line of sight. Both devices fall a little short of their overall stated range when it comes to completely uninterrupted signal. And when you have your back to it, the DJI lasts a little longer, but both perform way beyond what you would ever realistically use in an on-camera wireless mic. So first off, I think it's a little unrealistic to expect to use either one of these in a professional, production environment without adding some kind of EQ or compression. But I think for those users that are really looking to just plug it in and use it right off the bat, content creators, media creators, that kind of thing, both these devices will sound pretty good straight out of camera. And by contrast, this is the DJI Mic 2 straight out of camera. So like I said, this might be a little unrealistic for you to use either one of these microphones without adding some kind of EQ or compression. This will give you a good idea of what the DJI microphone sounds like directly out of camera. No processing, no additional EQ or compression. So this will give you a good idea of what the Lark M2S sounds like straight out of camera. No EQ and no compression. Even though that's a tad unrealistic, I think, for most people, if you're a media and content creator and you just want to plug this in, even just to your phone, for example, this will give you a pretty good idea of what this sounds like directly out of camera. This is an example of what the DJI Mic 2 with added equalization and compression can sound like compared to the Lark M2S. And this will give you an idea of what the Lark M2S can sound like with just a few tweaks to EQ and compression. So as you can hear, both these microphones can sound nearly identical with just a few tweaks in post. And so that's really going to probably narrow down which one of these is going to matter most to you. Are you a working professional that needs a lot of control over the finished product and things like 32-bit float and things like, on transmitter recording? Well, without a doubt, probably the DJI Mic 2 is going to win hands down. But if you're a media creator or if you're a content creator, influencer, things like that, and you just want to go straight to publishing right out of camera, the Lark M2S is probably going to win hands down, not just because of its incredible size, but because of its ease of use and additional content creation features. All the available configurations that the Lark M2S are sold with come with some kind of phone connection, be it USB-C or Lightning. And in this case, we're going to use the Lightning adapter, and we're going to attach this to our iPhone. The receiver plugs directly into your phone, be it Lightning or USB-C, and immediately starts to pair with whatever transmitters you have removed from the case. So a single transmitter or dual transmitters, it'll operate in that mode. And once it pairs, it'll light continuously blue if you only have one, and it searches for the other one if you have both transmitters removed. From here, we just select an audio app on our iPhone. In this particular case, we're just using the voice recording app. We'll start recording here. In this case, we're recording directly into the Voice Memos app here on our iPhone. This could typically be any app, really. But the little included receiver here for both Lightning and USB-C just makes this a super easy thing to do, quick and dirty, and thankfully Hollyland just makes this so straightforward. And whether you're using one transmitter in mono or both in stereo, that can be easily set up inside the Lark Audio app on your phone. This could typically be any app, really. The Lark Audio phone app is actually pretty impressive. It adds a bunch of new additional features and control over the Lark M2S. Here you can monitor your audio in both stereo and mono. You can set your noise cancellation intensities here. You can set it to mono or stereo operation and a bunch of other additional controls. Using the Lark M2S with your laptop is just as straightforward and just as feature-rich. You simply plug in the receiver, the USB-C receiver in this particular case, into your laptop. And then once you set your audio levels in your audio sound app for your computer, you can use either one or both of the transmitters inside your applications. In this example, we're setting up one of the microphones to be used inside of Final Cut Pro to do voiceovers with. And this is great when you're traveling and you're on a schedule. This is the Hollyland Lark M2S, and we're recording directly into Final Cut Pro. This is the Hollyland Lark M2S, and we're recording directly into Final Cut Pro from one of the wireless transmitters. So this is a super easy process, and Hollyland thankfully makes this just really straightforward by simply using the USB-C adapter straight into the MacBook Pro. But the Hollyland Lark M2S has got a trick up its sleeve, and I mean, it's a really good trick, and I haven't seen it on any other wireless mic combination anywhere near this price. In addition to plugging in the audio out into your camera, if you also take advantage of the USB-C out of the receiver itself and then plug that into your laptop, The two receiver LEDs will temporarily blink orange until it syncs completely, and then it'll turn blue to confirm the active connection, and then we simply make the regular connections from the receiver to the camera we normally make. Check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. Now the receiver will split its signal to two different destinations, the camera and the laptop. So here we're actually recording into two devices at one time. We're recording into the camera here, and then into Final Cut Pro via the USB-C out, straight into the computer. Check, check, 1, 2. So here we're actually recording into two devices at one time. We're recording into the camera here, and then into... This is incredibly convenient for a couple of different reasons. If you have a more complex setup, it means you can send your audio signal to more than one destination, not just a laptop, but you could send it to a video recording device, like a video monitor, for example, or you could duplicate it on a larger system or screen. There's a lot of possibilities here, and the fact that Hollyland thought to include this is really remarkable at this price point. So as you can see and hear, the new Lark M2S is pretty amazingly competitive on a variety of levels, but in terms of just sheer size, it's unbelievably affordable cost, and its mic quality. This is pretty tough to beat. The M2S is, I would say without question, the easiest dual mic system we have used to date. Now, is it going to win, in a toe-to-toe contest with better, more expensive mic systems like the Mic 2 and some of the higher end systems like Deity and stuff? Obviously, no, it's not. You're not going to get the metal case, you're not going to get the distance, you're not going to get, the 32-bit float. But what you are going to get is unbelievable size and portability in an incredibly affordable package that is smaller than a lav mic. And that opens up a whole new use case of options and scenarios and things that you can use it under. I think that's really where this is going to shine. And it sounds great. With a little bit of EQ, this thing can absolutely toe-to-toe with your more expensive mic systems. Especially when you consider the new, DJI Mic 3 coming out in the near future. The availability of that is very, very uncertain right now. That might really affect your decision when you compare it to the Hollyland. Pretty well stocked, it's out, and pretty available on things like Amazon and those platforms. Give it some thought. I would say without a doubt, in our case, one of the easiest we've used to date that still has what I would say semi-professional, and in some cases, professional quality. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. If this was helpful in any way, please hit the subscription and notification bells. It really does help keep a channel like this going, helps keep a channel like this growing, and helps me make more videos like this for you guys. Stay safe and be creative. Add something creative to the world, because man, it could really use it right now. Take care, you guys. We'll catch you in the next video.